What's going on, guys? Sergeant Galaxia back with another video, and this time it's all about the Yu-Gi-Ohs. And today, what I'm going to be talking about is... Oh, Mittens just left the room. But anyway, we're going to be talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! Player manipulation. Now, what does that mean exactly? For those of you who don't know, Yu-Gi-Oh! Is a game based on strategy, thought process, net decking, Pahoban, and a bunch of other wacky mind game strategy stuff. But we're going to be talking more on the mind games and stuff like that. But we're not just going to be talking about bluff sets and like basic stuff. We're going to be talking more about how to psych your opponent out, really, is the big one. The reason why I've been talking about this today is I've been reading up on what's called reaction management. It's by something developed by John Taffer. For those of you who don't know, he is the host of Bar Rescue on Spike TV. I am currently reading a book on him called Raise the Bar. It's a very good book. And there's a few things that kind of hit to me because I was also reading a Yu-Gi-Oh! Article that kind of mirrored some aspects that he was poking at. And I was on Core TCG reading some old articles, just going through kind of spending my days just looking at the same old stuff. And there's this one article that I can't remember. I was trying to find it today to try to pull it up for you guys. But basically what it was saying was opponent A had two mind crushes set. Opponent A activates, he calls, I think he was playing, I want to say, I don't know what the player A was playing, but player B was playing Geargias. So player A activates Mind Drain, or not Mind Drain, Mind Crush. Opponent B chains Trap Stun. Opponent A chains Mind Crush again to call for, I think both times it was Mark II. And it resolves and he dumps off. And player A, this is like the big one, player A just casually mentions, oh, I bet that set Call the Haunted that you have would do well right now. And player A was just assuming that he had Call the Haunted. He was just saying it like a friendly gesture. And opponent B was looking at the card, and he actually activated Call the Haunted. Now, for some of you right now, you're probably thinking, wait, he's still under Trap Stun. He can't activate Call the Haunted. But he did, because player A kind of got into his head a little bit, saying that, oh yeah, that would be a good play. Let me do it. Oh wait, I forgot that I'm under Trap Stun. And that's something that a lot of players can take advantage of. Can take advantage of manipulating opponents in the sense of understanding what they're going to react to, kind of what their personality is, based on just quick understanding on body language and how they look and how they present themselves and how they talk to you as soon as you address the table, yada yada yada. Just personality stuff is really the big thing. Another one that I would probably have some resemblance to is I try to do this as much as I can when the situations allow it. So I remember in one locals in Rochester, I was playing Spellbooks, obviously, at the time. My opponent was playing Madolches. And throughout the duel, game one, he absolutely crushed me with all the exceeds that they go through with, I don't even know, it's like Who Cake and like all that, just like spam, spam. That's all they're doing, basically. Killed me with it game one. I just couldn't handle it. I couldn't do anything about it. Game two, I beat him with the side. I used Rivalry, Sided in Rivalry, the Warlords, and just shit bricks on him, right? Game three, it was a back and forth. And currently, I had a Blue Boy, Fate, and a Torrential on board. And so, as both of us were doing good plays at the time, he was trying to bait out my Fate, which was fine. So he dropped a pretty substantial exceed. I forgot what it was at the time. It was one of the ones that they could make. But I needed to do it because I was such low on life points. I think I was at 1,200 or something below 2,000, I remember. So I just needed to deal with whatever came out with Fate because I knew with the Torrential, I had some backing. So I faded one of his exceeds that he made. and he had something that he just could continue to go off. At this point, I realized that if I do not use this torrential tribute as much as I possibly can, meaning to maximize its potential, I am going to lose this game. So, what I did, this is kind of like what I did. I was like looking at the card, right? And I'm like showing a physical face feature, giving him a read that I had a bad card and could not do anything. And the one thing that I asked him out of like a casual thing was, do you still have your normal summon? And he said yes. And I kind of did a fake sigh, and he must have thought that I had nothing to do anything with. Granted, this is what I wanted him to understand. I wanted him to believe that I had no cards left to help him push. So he continued to push. He dropped 2, exceeded for the one that gets like a Beast Warrior or whatever. I forgot. It's like an X Saber or something like that. It gets him more, and then he has, at this point, he has the Exceed, one Madolche, and he's about to drop the other one. And as soon as he's looking through his graveyard, he's doing something with his graveyard. I look at it again. And I'm like just a simple, like, no huff, no puff, no over exaggerating, just like. And so he goes for it. He goes for game. And as soon as he summoned something, I don't know, I was pretty sure it was from the graveyard, and I was able to somehow torrential it or something like that, because it wasn't through an effect. It was something bizarre that I knew that I could use torrential on. And sure enough, he played right in my torrential, thus giving me the game. Stuff like that is probably one of the biggest topics in Yu-Gi-Oh! That people don't typically talk about. I think that this is something that a lot of players do to a basic level, meaning, say for example, if you summon something, you're like, oh, you got the Veiler or something like that. You know what I mean? Like, even that could do something. If, say for example, if, like in my situation, if I'm able to plop down a Priestess, right? I summon Blue Boy for, just for a baiter, for either like a Phoenix Chain or an Effect Veiler. And I'm like, is this going to get negated? Like doing like that, and then he negates it, and I'm like, sweet. Drop down Priestess, pop, go for game. You know what I mean? Like, stuff like that, we all do that. We all do stuff like that. Whether you know it or not, we're always like, oh, you probably have the Crow, you probably have the Fader, you probably have the Scarecrow. Like, just stuff like that we always do, but we don't like really realize that we're trying to manipulate our opponent. But in reality, we are. So I guess what I want to know is, what are your situations? What situations have risen for you that you've actually been able to do like a power pseudo Jedi manipulation? And that image right there, that's what you're doing to your opponent when you mind blow them, literally, to the point where they just lost the game. So please, in the comments below, let me know what your best mind manipulation play in Yu-Gi-Oh! Ever. Mine was probably the torrential one, because I killed like 3 of them, and I was just like, and you like walked right into it. So, as always, while watching this guy, try to pay attention to me as well, if you would, please. Make sure to comment down below, like I mentioned. If you liked the video, make sure to like it, make sure to share it. I want to know if this stuff is useful for you guys. Make sure to sub if you haven't already. I'm getting close to 100. I might do something special, but who knows? So, yeah, I'm curious. So that's going to be it for me, guys. So, as always, we'll see you later.